My name is Christopher Penn, co-founder of Brain Trust Insights, and today this is our video SEO tutorial guide, webinar, book chapter, whatever you want to call it. We're putting this together both for ourselves, for a webinar, and for Animatron, for an upcoming video book. We want to talk about SEO for video, search engine optimization, because video is a gigantic player in terms of what's happening in the media landscape right now. Video, YouTube itself, Google's video platform, is probably, I believe it's the second largest search engine or the third largest search engine on the planet. And people go to YouTube to find everything from music videos to how to fix their kitchen sink to understanding machine learning. So it's important for us to have a presence on video if our audience is there. So if we're doing any kind of work where audiences are asking questions like how do I or how to, that's really where we want to spend our time. In terms of overall strategy and ingredients, let's talk about the strategy behind video SEO before we get into the tactics of the how-to. Like all forms of marketing and media and production, we really have 7 steps to our video content distribution process, or our content distribution process in general. And those 7 steps are pretty common. We do them over and over again. Number 1 is, what's our overall strategy? What are our goals? What's the business goal of what we're trying to do? Are we trying to become a video influencer, sort of a YouTube personality, which, by the way, is a multi-billion-dollar industry? So those of us who are a little little more gray in our hair kind of may initially think, that seems kind of silly. Nope, there's billions of dollars at stake. So we want to make sure that we take it seriously. What does our video strategy do for us? What do we plan on having it do? Do we want to educate? Do we want to entertain? How are we creating video that will be useful to our audience so that it drives things like traffic and awareness and conversions, things like that? The second step in the process is research. We need to do extensive research to figure out what to create video about. Just making video about our products and services is not going to be impactful. Nobody cares, because we're not helping our audience. We are only helping ourselves when we do video like that. So we need to do a research to figure out what video can we create that will be of benefit to our audience. The third step is, of course, creating the video itself. And we're not going to go into a whole lot of that in this webinar because, well, frankly, A, there's 1.5 million tutorials, and B, you get so down the rabbit hole of like what camera to use and things like that, that we'll just make the assumption that you've created video that your audience wants. So how do I do something? What is something? Why is something important? There's actually a great framework that YouTube put out a number of years ago, 2014, called the Hero Hub Hygiene or Help strategy. And essentially for video, this is what they think you should be doing. You should be creating big ideas, one super big video production per quarter, monthly sort of campaigns with anchor videos, and then daily or high frequency tactical content on being helpful. And it really falls in the category of like, why is video important? What is video SEO? And then how do you do it? And so if we were going to be doing this as our full-time focus, we would spend most of our time creating video like this, relatively low budget, relatively straightforward. How do I do X, Y, or Z content? And then ladder up to the bigger stuff. So let's go back to our overall video SEO process here. And so once we've created the video, we have to distribute the video. We have to share it on or publish it on as many different platforms as it makes sense to do so. There are great platforms like YouTube, of course, and Vimeo, and there's corporate platforms like Wistia and such. But those are not the only places video is accepted. Video is accepted on almost every social network now. So Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. If you are a business user, a business-to-business company, and you're not publishing video on LinkedIn, you are making a massive mistake. There's a huge gap there in your strategy. And of course, publishing video internally for employees in internal portals and things like that. All of these are different distribution channels that you might want to look at for your video content. The next step is activation. How do we get people to pay attention to our video? And video SEO is a major portion of that, like getting people to find our video. But there's other aspects of activation as well, and we'll talk about some of those. Then, of course, there's measurement. How did our video do? Did we get results out of it that were aligned to our strategy and goals? And finally, if we've done a great job of creating video and following this process, how do we improve it? How do we turn that video into a series or a book or a webinar or something like that? How do we up-level it so that it really becomes an anchor for us that we can build on it, we can iterate on it, we can make improved versions of it. So that's the overall content distribution framework, of which video SEO is a major part. Now, let's get very specific. Video SEO is about making our videos findable in search engines that search videos. That means regular Google, that means Bing, that means YouTube, and that means platforms like LinkedIn and stuff like that. So, what do we need to do video SEO well? We need 5 sets of ingredients. We need the video itself, audio, text, people, and measurement. In the video section, we need great quality video. Now, it doesn't need to be Hollywood quality, but it needs to be clear. It needs to be free of disruption. It needs to be a good enough quality that the different services can upsample or downsample as needed. So for people who have, luxurious, super high-speed internet connections, they can watch in blisteringly precise 5K, and you can see like exactly how many threads are on the screws of my glasses. And then for people who are on low bandwidth networks or have small devices, the video can be downsampled appropriately. In the category of video/images, we also need to have still images. We need to have images we can use for social promotion and things like that. So we'll take stills from our video. We need custom thumbnails. This is especially important for YouTube, where YouTube will always somehow manage to pick like the least the least flattering point to take a screenshot. So you're like trapped mid-video, like something like that. And of course, that would be the thumbnail that we'll choose by default. So you want to have those custom thumbnails that appear in many ways like a miniature ad of your video. So why would someone pay attention to this video? In the audio category, great video begins with great audio. David Temez says that. He's an instructor at MassArt and writes at the Kino Eye blog, phenomenal video teacher. But he says great video begins with great audio for 2 reasons. One, if you've ever gone to a bar or an entertainment center or a waiting room where there's a TV, people will watch a TV with kind of not a great picture as long as they can hear the audio. On the other hand, put up a big 5K TV and turn off the sound, and people kind of look at it but not really engage with it because having the audio makes it multisensory. So that's one of the reasons to have great quality audio. The other reason is that for artificial intelligence and machine learning software, which is built into services like YouTube, it will use the audio to make transcripts, to make closed captions and things automatically. So if the audio quality is great, it will have a better, easier time making those transcripts. Now, we'll talk about that in a little bit. You also need the separated audio files. If you're going to use a third-party AI service to generate your closed captions, you will need to have that great audio turned into an MP3, for example, and we'll walk through that as well. On the text side, search engines still crawl text the most easily and index it the most robustly. So in order to assist search engines with that, we need to provide transcripts of what's been said in the video. AI generated or human generated, either is fine. Certainly if you are a small shop, you would probably go for the machine generated and then spend some time cleaning up. If you have a big budget and a big team, you can use the human generated version. You also want to have your closed captions built, either, again, machine generated or hand provided, that because services, especially YouTube, will index off of closed captions. We also want to isolate what keywords our videos are about, and using regular SEO tools for that is really important because it will help us figure out what we should title our videos, and that might even inform the content of our video. That's why the research phase comes first before the actual creation phase. And then writing the description of our video. What is our video about? Using, again, some of the research we've done, some of the transcript content to make robust video descriptions. YouTube can accommodate, in particular, can accommodate a lot of text. Facebook can accommodate entire books. LinkedIn can accommodate a lot of text. So you want to have rich descriptions so that your video posts are filled with good quality content. When it comes to that phase when we start talking about activation and how do we get people to pay attention to our video, because great video SEO is predicated on great engagement with the video. So long watch times, repeated watches, many watches will help your video show up in things like, suggested videos. So in order to do that, you need to activate your video, and that requires people. So leveraging your social networks, promoting organically or paid on social media is an important aspect of video SEO. Using your email list is important. Making sure that you promote your email list, that you share your videos within your emails. Promoting to your website audiences, having stuff on site, and also using advertising audiences like retargeting and remarketing. Being able to show videos, show ads, maybe even video ads to audiences who have been to your website or your owned media properties, encouraging them to go watch the video. And there are a number of platforms. YouTube has its own built-in advertising system that's part of Google AdWords. We'll look at a couple others. And finally, in the fifth bucket, we need great measurement. So we'll do some predictive analytics research to figure out, again, when to publish our video for maximum impact. Are the analytics that come out of our video platforms, so all things like watch time and stuff, and then of course web analytics to figure out, did the overall process of creating this content lead to traffic that led to tangible conversions of some kind. So these are the ingredients we need for great video SEO. Let's start bringing some of this to life. Let's start by talking about some of the research we'll need to do as part of the process. First place I typically like to stop is qualitative research to understand what is it that people are even saying about things. So here I typed in video SEO into the website Quora.com, and let's briefly peruse the questions that people are talking about, like how does video SEO work? Where can I find some of these things? What are good ways to learn this? What are the best free video SEO tools? Tips to improve my YouTube video, and so on and so forth. And so we can see very common language here that we know we will need to use in order to make the most of our video SEO efforts. Now, you would type in your own industry, concrete manufacturing or toy making, whatever the case is, but find the language that people use as starting points for your video SEO. The second thing you're going to do is do that keyword research. So if you go to a free tool like Ubersuggest or a paid tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush or Moz, whatever the SEO tool of your choice, let's put in video SEO here, and take a look at what are the most searched for terms. Again, this is going to help us inform our keywords that we're going to use in our video and some of our descriptions. I'm going to export this to a CSV file here. And what I want to do next is I'm going to take that file. Let's open it up here. Bring it into this window so we can see what we're doing. And I specifically want to look for the word video, so because there's a lot of other stuff in here, but we see video SEO, we see Google video search, things like that. Let's go ahead and put this into a spreadsheet. We'll use a very common one here and probably take the header so that copy this here. And now if we open this file in our spreadsheet software, we can sort it just on the video words, because those are the ones that we're really most concerned about. Let's take a look here, search volume. So video SEO is our third term here, video SEO expert, but video marketing is the category term. So as we publish our content, we're going to want to keep in mind a lot of these terms for the use in the description and the content of the video. I might even retitle this "Video Marketing and Video SEO" to sort of check the box. I'm going to take sort of the top 25 terms here. We're going to put them in a text file. I'm going to save that for a little bit later. We'll go ahead and just put that here. So we've got our keyword research now. We've got our broad, language research, and that really covers, if you think about it, sort of the basics of this stage of our process, the research stage. We know kind of what we want to do. We're in the middle of creating the video now. In this case, the webinar video. So we'll sidestep the creation process. Let's talk about how to start using some of these assets, the distribution process. When we load our videos, we want to have all of these ingredients in place and ready to go. So you just saw me put together the keywords. Let's take an example video here, and let's look at a couple of ways to generate some of these pieces. For still images, you just play the video in your desktop. I'm going to open up one here that I recorded this morning. Make this fit the screen, and manually scroll through and find an appropriate thumbnail that doesn't make you look like you've gone completely mad, and then just take a screenshot. Depending on what platform you're using, that may be a couple of button presses, but that's how you get the screenshot. For the thumbnail, I recommend using a service that does video thumbnails or does image thumbnails very easily. One of my favorites that is very low cost or no cost is Canva. It's a very straightforward service. I'm going to create a custom design for video. Remember, it's 1920 by 1080 is your typical HD format, and start up the service here. And we can take our video screenshot, just a still right out of our video. And remember, these can be thumbnails on YouTube or whatever, so we want to make sure that when we put in things like text, that we put in a big obvious stuff that's easy to see. So let's go ahead and do just something hideous for fun. And crank up the size on that again, because this will eventually be a thumbnail. And this would be an example of how we could do those thumbnails that we would want to have available to us, sort of our checklist of things, those custom thumbnails. So we've got our video. In terms of audio, there are any number of free services and free utilities to turn a video file into an audio file. I personally use one that's an open source package called FFmpeg. You can download it. It's available for virtually every platform on the planet. It is free of financial cost, and you can see it'll convert video to a whole bunch of different formats. This is how you obtain that audio file. For transcripts and closed captions, there are a number of transcription services. So Amazon Transcribe, Watson Speech to Text, Google Speech API. What I've been trying out recently that I've really enjoyed is something called Otter. And if I'll pull open a video I loaded this morning, Otter takes your MP3 file, which is one of the reasons why we transcribe it, and will actually transcribe it, reasonably nicely. And if we export the text here, I can include speakers and I can include timestamps. I'm going to try speakers because there's only me in this particular application. And when we look in what it spits out, let's go ahead and open this file here. We see it's got these nice timestamps that we can use for when we load closed captions later on. So this is, in effect, has gone ahead and created the closed captions for me, which is super nice and handy. Again, keywords. Our description, think of our description as a blog post of sorts. And again, you can use your closed captioned content or your transcript content as the basis for your description, because remember, most platforms can accommodate enormous amounts of text in the posts. You may want to clean that up. I typically, when I'm doing this, will have a shorter version of that, but feel free to use whatever you like. For your social networks, obviously building your social media, having mailing lists, email lists is important. Your website audiences and your advertising audiences are important. If you are not currently using Google Tag Manager on your website and retargeting platforms like, for example, StackAdapt, you're missing an opportunity to reach out to people. So I'm going to pull open here just an example of a campaign. I've got a campaign running right now to retarget and show video ads to people who have been to my website. And you can see the numbers of impressions and clicks. This will help me activate my video because I can show ads on other websites, on other platforms, directing people to a YouTube video or a LinkedIn video or any publicly accessible URL. It's a really important thing to do to have this tracking. And if you're using retargeting, you can essentially set pixels on pages on your website to show only to people who've been to your website. That way you know they're interested. You know they are already introduced to you. They don't need a cold introduction, and so your ads will perform better. And then that, of course, becomes your advertising audiences as well. Make sure on your website, whatever it is that you're doing on your website, that you're using the native players, that you're not putting video directly on your website. So, for example, here I've got the YouTube player embedded right in my website. If I go to this blog post today, I've got my thumbnail, which I also use as a header image, kind of doing double duty there. And then I've got the video and the YouTube native players built right in. The reason for this, again, is we want to get those views and engagements on the videos on video platforms. So if we were to load this video to WordPress directly, we would not be accomplishing that goal. We would actually be taking views away from our platform. So having it here is important. And finally, in terms of the research, when to do certain things, at my company, Brain Trust Analytics, we do a lot of predictive analytics using things like search data. So you saw me pull a lot of those keywords earlier. I put them through our predictive algorithm and forecasting forward. This book chapter I know is going to be released July 1, and so that's when video SEO is going to hit its peak, and also when video marketing software is going to hit its peak. Video marketing itself will reach its peak on June 10th. We get June 10th. For clarity's sake, today is May 22nd, so we are creating this content in advance, but using predictive analytics to figure out when to publish. So we want this as part of our research phase, to have this in advance so that we know when to publish for certain terms. And of course, we want to make sure that we are signed up and using our video platforms analytics. If you are publishing on YouTube and you're just uploading stuff and you have not spent any time in Creator Studio, again, that's a missed opportunity that you should immediately correct. Creator Studio requires you to enable your YouTube channel and stuff and spend some time tuning it up. But if you look, there's enormous numbers of analytics and things that you can pay attention to, such as what's your watch time, your view duration, your viewer retention, subscribers, videos, playlists, demographics. All this stuff is really important. Watch time is one of the most important metrics currently for at least on the YouTube platform, so it's important to pay attention to. The other thing you'll want to do is pay attention to is audience retention. How long do people watch your videos? So if you're creating, say, for example, 20-minute videos every day, and your average retention is 3 minutes, then you know you're creating, well, frankly, not enough. You're creating too much video for people to watch. And you can see your percentage views here. This video here, this cognitive marketing keynote of mine, not great retention. People only make it 20% of the way through that video. On the other hand, when I have simpler, shorter videos here, we have 47% retention there, 77% retention there. If you're doing series, like you can see, I have a US Guy Answer series. I do something with your marketing series. You can group these things by series and figure out what series gets the highest retention, and you can do more of or less of something in order to boost those numbers. So that covers sort of the video platform analytics. The last thing you absolutely positively must have set up is Google Analytics, and you need Google Analytics set up to measure the impact of your video in terms of what it's doing for you. So we'll be looking at things like how much traffic do you get directly from video platforms. You would find that, for example, in acquisition source medium. You can figure out, okay, what platforms are sending me traffic. If the platforms that you load video to, like LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, are not in here in your analytics, then you know your video is not working for you as a direct traffic driver. See, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube. Okay, doing okay. The other place you're going to want to look is in your search. If in your search queries and what people find you for, if your name or your brand or or your video topics are not listed anywhere within your top searches, then you know you've got a problem. You know you have not done a great job. So here, my name is number 12. I need to do a better job, I guess, of marketing my name. Well, I would if I was marketing my name. I'm marketing my company, so not as much of a concern here. But if this were my company, I'd be in a lot of trouble. So paying attention to those web analytics. So what's your strategy? What are your goals? Your Google Analytics will tell you if you're achieving those goals. Have you done your research using SEO tools, using sites like Quora, using sites like Ubersuggest to figure out, and using predictive analytics? You create great video and great audio quality to go with it. You build your text-based stuff, keyword lists, descriptions, transcripts. You distribute on all of your video platforms. You activate with email, with social, with web, with paid. You measure, and then you figure out what works, what's working, what's not working. And when you look at your analytics about your watch times and your retention and stuff, what's getting the views, what's not getting the views, and do more of what's working and what's not. That's the video SEO process, using these 5 sets of ingredients. Give this a try. Be aware that building a video audience and building a video platform as a marketer is difficult. It takes a long time. I've been cranking out videos now, one every business day for 3 months, and just now starting to see some solid results out of video. So honestly, give yourself a couple of years to really build up that audience, to constantly be promoting and sharing and stuff like that. You're not going to be an overnight success. Well, it's highly unlikely you'll be an overnight success. No matter how good your video SEO is, it's unlikely you're going to be able to knock it out of the park on the first video or the 10th video or even the 100th video. Give yourself lots of time, lots of patience to create great content, and then as you deploy that video, as you have it out there, it'll start to work for you. So you see videos here. These are now starting to rack up in the hundreds of views, and some of these videos are fairly old. And the newer videos of the 153 I've got, they're not cranking out those views yet. Every now and again, you'll get a strike as something does well. This is because GDPR is topically very important right now, and having one of the few videos on GDPR that were out early has benefited my video SEO. But have a lot of patience, because it's going to take you a very long time. Follow the process rigorously. Don't skip steps. If you do, you're not going to get the results, or you're not going to get as good a results as you could have. So thanks for watching this video. If you're reading this in the book, go and watch the video so you can see some of the screenshots and things. If you're watching the video, go check out the book from Animatron. If you're watching this as a webinar, thank you, and let us know how Brain Trust Insights can help you make more money with your data and light up the dark data, including your video data that you're sitting on. Take care, and I'll see you soon. If you want help with your company's data and analytics, visit braintrustinsights.com today and let us know how we can help you.